Alright y'all, welcome back to another video here on the John Doc YouTube channel. We got a Slick Rick update for you, and before we get started, you guys already know we're getting close to the end of the giveaway. Giving away Boomhauer, my silver LS Swap Nitrous Mustang. It's pretty sweet. Holley EFI, 6-liter pistons rods, Texas Speed PRC heads. It's got a big ass camshaft in there, TH400, Strange 8.8. On nitrous. I got, right now it's currently jetted for a 300 shot, but when you win it'll come with two 10-pound nitrous bottles, a 200 shot, a 250 shot, and a 300 shot that's in it. Plus it'll be tuned for either pump gas or race gas, and it's on Holley Terminator. So it's a really awesome street strip car. Right now I got it configured for no prep. We've been running the no prep stuff. We're actually going to be running it this upcoming weekend at a no prep in the street car class, because it is a real deal street car. So hope you guys are excited about that. If in order to get entered to win, go to lsnasty.com and pick up any merchandise. We got a mystery box, we got hats, we got shirts, we got stickers, we got socks, we got boxers, we got a bunch of stuff there. So go and check that stuff out. But as for today, we're going to talk about Slick Rick. I haven't filmed a video with it since we talked about the Proline 481X that's going in there. We talked about the headers, which are a little bit bigger, and we talked about how we're going to cut some stuff off the car in order to make it fit. So instead of trying to re-engineer a header for it to work around the car's current configuration, we figured it was easier to put everything in there and then move the bars on the car instead, and we have done just that. I'll also give you a sneak peek on the shifter that we're going to be running, which we'll show you as well. So for those of you guys that aren't aware of what the Slick Rick build series is, we got is actually Jody Voil's old Pro 275 car. It's actually, I say old, it's a very new car. It's only got like 30 or 40 passes on the chassis. The car has already been, 380s, I believe, at 200, and that was with a conventional headed big block and twins. We're going to be running a Proline Stage 3 41X and a Hertz 140 turbo, so single turbo, get a little bit of weight break there. Plus, obviously we like the single turbo stuff around here. Car's awesome car, double frame rail, 3rd gen Camaro. It's got a floater rear end, 4-link. It's all the good stuff that you see. Like I said before, it had a conventional headed big block in there, and now we're going to the 481X. With down and forward facing headers, so they're pretty wide. So like I mentioned earlier, we had to cut the upper part of the frame rail through the firewall, which is not really structurally, it's not a structural integrity part of the car, but it's good that if it's there, put it back. Don't just cut it and leave it out. We cut a bunch of stuff off, and Matt bent some bars and got them set in there. So the bars are actually going to run on the inside of the headers, in between the header and the engine block, which is a little bit different because most of the stuff you see, everything's just outside of it. But because this thing is so big and so wide, it's got a lot of room in between the header and the block. That would just be unused space. So we figured we'd run the bar there. So right now, if you guys can tell, so this bar right here wasn't here before, or it was here, but it came off of the mid plate mounted, and it would come out and it'd kick out, and then it'd go all the way up to here, and it would intersect from the outside with a bend. And now it is going straight off of it, so it's in line with the double frame rail, and then it kicks out this way. So it looks narrower. When you look at it, you're like, damn, you're not going to fit an engine there. But this is below where the cylinder head is. So when the engine's set in there, the cylinder head and the exhaust ports are above it, pointing down. So right here was all unused real estate. It also had a bar that came out here in between the A-arms, and then came up and attached to this, and then attached right up here. You can see actually where it was cut. I don't know if you guys can see on this side where it was cut. We're going to do the same thing. This is actually where we're going to hang the motor plate off of. So the 481X motor plate is just 2 billet aluminum pieces, or whatever material you want to run, that go on each side. They don't connect in the middle. So we're going to run this bar up and then across out to here, and then the motor plate will hang from there. So that's what we got going on as far as modifications to the car itself. One big thing that we do have to modify is the steering shaft. So the steering shaft on the car comes out the firewall, dipped down, and it's got 3 Flaming River joints. So it's set up pretty good, but runs right into the header. There's no good way around it. So this is where it is coming out. Goes down, 1 Flaming River joint, 2 and 3. What we're gonna do to really make some more room is we're gonna drop this and have it come down here, and then it'll be way lower, out of the way of everything. Right here on the 481X, you have the oil pump, so we're trying to get everything out of the way and below it. So steering position wise, the steering column's pretty long, it's pretty flat. We're gonna have a joint that goes down before the firewall in order to get to the angle that we want. Yeah, so a lot of work. Matt did some really awesome work to the car here. Firewall wise, as you can see, it's pretty cut up. This is where that other tube came from. We're gonna have to modify, patch the firewall, smooth everything out to get it to look good. But we have been chipping away at it. Matt's been doing a killer job. Only really worked like a day. As you can see, that's where we cut that the upper frame rail, still 100% intact. So that's sweet. All right, so as you guys are aware, we love running the M&M stuff, Mark Mickey transmissions. We run them in literally everything. We have like 5 or 6 here at the shop. This one's getting a Mickey 2-speed 400 lockup with 1 3/16 input, so it's got a billet pump. It's a really nice piece. So shifter-wise, stays the same, 2-speed 400 shifter, but we went with a gold option. So this thing right here is a one-off, all gold. I don't know if you can tell on camera if it's just gold, but it's engraved with the Slick Rick logo on it. So Mark and the guys over at M&M Transmissions absolutely knocked this one out of the park. This thing is pretty sweet. Just kind of a cool touch. Yeah, it's serious. This thing's wild. So this is gonna bolt in the car. I don't think he was running an M&M shifter, so we're gonna have to make a shifter mount for it, and then it'll hook up the transmission just like normal, and we'll be good to go. It's got the air shifter solenoid on there, so you'll be good to go. Running all of the shift programming through the Holley, and this thing right here is it just looks crazy. I got a black and red one in that car, and I think I'm gonna get one for the Glizzard as well, because these things are quite serious. They're pretty tough. So big shout out to the guys at M&M Transmissions to make an all gold shifter. I think it's really going to fit the look here of Slick Rick, especially if we get some stuff polished up by Joe at Dieter's Custom Finishing. This thing's going to be pretty serious. All right, some other stuff we got here for Slick Rick. We got a wheel from Quartermax. Like I said, we're redoing all of the steering column stuff. The steering rack is going to stay the same, but as far as the column, that's going to all be redone. So we got some tubing. We got some of their joints. Now, on the car, I showed you the Flaming River stuff. Let me show you the joints that I like to run. Also, we got a billet adapter spacer for the steering wheel. I like to run these. It spaces the wheel off a little bit, so when you take the wheel off of the column, you have a little bit more room. You're not poking yourself in the side as you try to get in and out of the car. But these are the joints right here. These are Flaming River joints also. But these, I feel like, are a little bit smoother and have a little bit better range of motion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I like running these. They sell these at Quartermax. 7/8 mil spec Flaming River joint. Yeah, these are good. There's nothing wrong with those. We run those on a lot of stuff, but when you have the option on the Colorado, I got all these put on there, and they're pretty good. So we got all the tubing to make it happen. We got a nice firewall grommet to run everything through there. So we're trying to make sure everything is done nice, done right. There's gonna be no holes in the firewall. Running the car in methanol. You got to make sure there's no holes in the firewall. We're gonna have a fire suppression system on there. You got to really be aware when you're building a car of this caliber that you don't skip any steps or try to take any shortcuts. And one last thing I'm going to talk about here, I don't really want to talk about it because I don't know the specs about it too much, but I do just want to let you guys know, Matt recommended us using the ECU Masters, the PMU. So this is very similar to a smart wire, but this one is going to do a whole lot different features. Control headlights. It can notify you if something's going on. You could set a lot of like if-then warnings. So let's say your dome pressure is you're out of CO2. The light would then flash or blink and let you know, hey, there's a problem going on. You could also change your tune-up right on the little keypad. So it's got the nice little touch keypad. You can change colors. You can do all that stuff. Matt preferred this as far as wiring the car because he wants to do a lot of really trick stuff with this setup. And it's very small. I'm very impressed by the size of it. This thing's very tiny, and this right here is going to be the lifeblood of Slick Rick. So next time Matt's in here, once we get the motor set in and we begin to wire in the car, I'm sure he's going to talk to you guys a lot about this. But this thing right here is it's quite serious. All right, couple little odds and end things here. Changing the steering wheel, talked about that. Messing with the steering column, putting the adapter on there. Oh, we're also going to a Strange quick release. I prefer the Strange quick release. God, it's a tongue twister because it's splined. So this one right here, you can put the wheel on kind of crooked. The Strange stuff, you can't. There's only one way it goes on. Some other little things we're going to do, obviously mounting the shifter, got to get that in the right location. The parachute handle, probably going to change that location and put an air launcher on there. And we're going to run everything to be automated. So the less driver inputs needed, the better. So you can kind of just let it do everything organically. That way, in case something does happen, you could focus on driving opposed to, hey, I got to pull the parachute. If you guys saw in the last video, I was at the racetrack, I was reaching up to pull a parachute, and I heard the car didn't shift, so I'd take my hand from there, bump the shifter, and put it back. Where, you know, if you got both hands on the wheel, you can quickly reach over and hit the shifter, or have your hand right over there by the shifter. But it's a good thing to have, especially running through the VPS. Having an air launcher handle on there, you can call it an air assisted handle, I guess you could say, but you can have it set up where if it sees an excessive amount of yaw or roll or pitch, that you can have it throw the chute automatically. So that's I think that's a pretty good update of what we got going on here with the car. Everything else, you know, we're not changing too much on the car, just making the changes that we have to get the engine and turbo kit in the car. The car was set up for a power glide length transmission. The transmission that we're putting in there is power glide length, so that works good. We're gonna get a drive shaft made for it. We already got a converter. We got a lockup converter from M&M Transmissions. Dealing with Proline Danny and all that stuff has been absolutely amazing. So big shout out to everyone over there at Proline, and we're just chipping away at it. So next time we'll do an update video on this. Matt will be here and we'll be working on it. You guys will see. We're gonna get the motor set in there, bolted all up. We're waiting on the turbo from Hartz, and we should be ready to roll. So quick little update there. I know we're not a lot of action-packed stuff. We got a bunch of racing next week, so be sure to check that stuff out. But Slick Rick's gonna be coming along. Once we get the motor and transmission in there, to wire it up, get it rolling, we're gonna be ready to hit the track. So hope we got you guys on your toes, and we're gonna get this thing rolling. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.
He get the buy this round. John Doc got to buy this round. The black sheep on the property. He got the buy for the next round.